Hello, hello, testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Hopefully, my voice comes through loud and clear. Bear with me, I am just checking the audio levels on the stream. I think the audio is quite high. Not sure if that music's coming through for you guys. I don't see it on the audio mixer, so I'm gonna have to fiddle around just a bit longer. 1 second. Well, okay, that's probably a bit high now. Alright, I'm gonna get started. How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having a fantastic start to April. Today is April the 1st, which means it's April Fool's Day. And I was thinking of a comic to draw for April Fool's Day, and one just, I don't know, popped up in my mind. And basically, you think of all of the April Fool's jokes going around, like Google and Amazon and even in Pokemon Go. And I just wondered to myself, what would be the most inappropriate place or the most inappropriate institution to kind of go ahead and make an April Fool's joke? And to me, that was a bank. It was a bank. Everyone loves to bash on the banks, and I am no different. So I come up with a little 4-panel comic, which goes something like this. Let me just reorganize the panels and get them even. Oh man, it's got to be a better way to evenly distribute the panels in Comic Clip Studio Paint, because this process does take a bit of time and isn't really that accurate. So let me first rename my panels. And when I was coming up with this comic idea, I basically did a little script and a few thumbnails beforehand. So I'm not doing this all live. I've got a bit of an idea what the comic should look like, and that's probably for the best, because otherwise I'd be taking a long time. No, streaming's pretty intense, and there's a lot of things going on, and I don't want the additional pressure of having to come up with a good comic while I'm live as well. So let me just save this first. There we go. And the comic's gonna look something like this. A reporter is going to be interviewing. This is just a thumbnail at the moment. And I'll be interviewing a family who's been gypped or fooled by this April Fool's joke. And they'll just be in the background here looking very sad. With a child in their arms. Something like a speech bubble there. Right. Welcome to the stream, everyone. How's your April Fool's going? If you write in the chat what your favorite April Fool's was this year, I'd love to hear from you. Right. And this reporter's going to say something along the lines of basically following up a story where one of the banks has taken away all of the money of their customers as an April Fool's joke, right? And this family here is not very happy about that. But this reporter is not asking the right questions. Ooh, that's a big microphone. He's going to be asking the family if they thought the joke was funny instead of how terrible it was that the banks thought it would be great to take all their money away. This will just be the same image as above. Before the reporter realizes he's made a massive mistake and he's going to run away. And the family is going to be very angry and pursue him. And the final panel is just going to be a news reporter sitting at a desk. Right, so that's the basic action and layout of the comic. Not going to do much more than that. Yeah. I put out a comic yesterday that was also a bit simple, a bit minimalistic as well. And that one had to do with the daylight savings switchover that's just happened here in Europe. And it was basically a philosopher guy who's pontificating about what time is after his friends mentioned that time has ticked over, as in the daylight savings hours kicked in. And when he's finished his big lecture about what time is, or what he thinks time is, then he realizes he's missed the train, because you can theorize all you want about time, what it is, and whether it's real or not, but we still all live by the same rules of time passing. The reason I wanted to mention that is because I've kind of slowed down in the past week or so. The main reason for that being a bit of disruption, a bit of holiday. Yeah, just some things going on that meant I wasn't able to reach a computer and I wasn't really in the mood to draw, which is terrible, just terrible, but here I am again. Alright, before I put in any of the ink, I want to make sure the bubbles are in place. The actual script itself I haven't figured out, but I will do that live. I kind of have an idea where I want to go with it anyway. Nice tail. Make sure I save regularly as well, because Clip Studio doesn't like not having that. Oops. Pop that in the right panel. Yeah. And that's basically the layout for the comic itself. I'm going to pop the text in now, just so that I know there's enough space. It's important to do before you actually go through and do the inking, because there's been so many times where maybe I've made an entire picture with ink and everything, and then the bubble with the text that I want doesn't actually fit on the page, and that's a waste of time. That's a lot of wasted energy. So I want to get in here the idea that the bank has taken away all their money as an April Fool's joke, and we're interviewing a family to see what their thoughts are. So reporting after the bank's April Fools. Here, reporting after the bank's April Fools of taking away all their money. I think that'll do for now. Get rid of the bold. Did you think it was funny or not? Alright, and here I can see immediately that the speech bubble isn't big enough, so this made it all worth it. Don't like the position of that tail. Bring that out there. And let this breathe a bit more. It's a bit too cramped. And then I'll just change the position of the interviewer and the family later on. So, final bubble. Coming up next, savings. Which account is right? Which bank is right for you? Will screw you over the least. So I'll be thanks Dave, reporting live on site. Coming up next, savings, which bank will screw you over the least? Yeah, that'll do. That will do. Get to Alright, I'm quite happy with the script there. I'm just gonna ink this quickly. Well, ink. What's ink? I'm gonna sketch it out and then hopefully that will be my ink. Save myself having to do it all over again. So what I want is the pen tool and a width of something like that. Maybe a square face design. And news reporters are always in suits, aren't they? They tend to be well presented. I suppose they have to be. And with a microphone. Oh yeah, I also streamed last night my PlayStation 4. That was kind of a concept thing, and I certainly don't envisage that I'll be doing that again. In fact, I'll probably just delete that from the stream history because that really was just a test, and that was exciting as well, I must say. I think it's good that all these game companies are making it easier to stream. And now I want the family in the background here looking very upset. Well, sad in this case. Just down. And with a few marks on their faces because they're a bit poor, they're struggling a little bit. With the child in her arms. Alright, getting into the character design a little bit. We've got a square face here. We have a circle face here, so I just need different shape here. Well, I'd like to have a different shape here, so I'm going to go for a longer face, something like that. And he's going to be wearing a polo shirt. Get rid of the nose. Gonna move his arm forward a little bit more to get him to reach for the baby. and give him a bit more of a dad bod. Which means he should have a bit more of a pear-shaped face. Very good. I'm going to turn down the opacity on the draft layer quite a bit so it's not so distracting. And now it's a case of reproducing these characters in their various situations. Alright, so this guy's going to be... What is that? Kind of looks like Guile from Street Fighter. Not bad. Yep, so it's got his collar. His arm will be outstretched. With the microphone in place. And I'm putting a bit of inking in there as well, which is probably not necessary at this stage. And he's reaching for them, so his body language is going to be a bit more open like that. And that elbow is a bit too far out. Good copy this family. Paste them in this layer. down. Merge them down. And what is this music? Hatsune Miku. Sounding very anime. Very good. I like it. Alright, and here the expressions are just going to change. To absolute amazement. What's that? Put that up here as well. Stray mark. Save that. And I'm just going to copy them down again, just as reference, but I'm not actually going to use the same body language that they've got there. They're going to obviously go into a bit more rage mode. Testing, testing. I am testing the audio on my voice again. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. I am testing the audio on my voice again. Testing, testing. Look, I'm just gonna carry on. I assume that the audio is okay, but there are no viewers at the moment, so I can't confirm with you guys, and I don't want to keep testing with my own computer because that's a bit weird. Because the audio will come through again, and then it's a bit of echo. It's all just a bit crazy, so I'm just gonna continue with the drawing part of this. So, what we're getting at now is an action shot where the reporter is running away. Our square-faced reporter. There's a bit of motion, so we're going to see a bit of sway in his hair. Bit of desperation in his eyes. And on the other side, the family who's not very happy with the question. If I've got this right, I've still got it pasted. Yes, perfect. So they'll just be sitting there for reference, if anything. And the microphone's going to be dropped here. Don't forget to merge that down so that I'm not editing on two separate layers. Whoops. Oh no, what's it doing now? Merge down, you guys. Merge down. Not the entire thing. Merge down. There we go. In any case, this couple's going to move to the side while I do the lady first. Draw her in an angry position. And she's gonna have her baby tucked on one side. So we'll see her hand carrying the baby itself looking angry as well. Maybe also raising a fist as well. Oh boy. She's raising a fist in oh, come on, Elsie, you can do a better fist than that. In which case this is going to change. Get rid of the hair covering, something like that. Alright, now for the dude. He's going to be up in arms as well. Going to be raging. Get rid of reference now, and I can move him a bit aside for the actual drawing part of it. Oops. Change the shape of his face as well. I think it was a bit more pear-like. Something like that. I mean, that'll do. Okay. I'm just making noise. They're not happy. Not necessary. Perfect anatomy, not necessary in this case. Okay. And in the final layer, we've just got one of our reporters. Just reporter lady. Oops. And I'll just change the script because it occurred to me. Thanks, Dave, always asking the right questions. Alright, reporting live. Asking the right questions. The Joneses. Alright, that makes more sense. Here reporting after the bank's April Fool's joke of taking away all their money, the Joneses. So did you think it was funny or not? Did you think it was funny or not? Very good. Alright, I'm going to take a quick break and then I'll be right back where I'm going to color in the comic. I'll write that in chat shortly. One sec while I take a short break.
Inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire. No more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, and I don't need to go around anymore. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. And cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right? Full steam through the setbacks. You can't win them all, but I'm proud I tried. I'm glad we had a dialogue. It's good to shape the mind. Speeding up the pace, turning up the heat. Where I need to be for the first time. I'm taking risks, I'm casting off without a lifeline. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. And cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right again? Don't you wanna feel whole? Don't you wanna feel?
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Yeah. Birds jumping on a
And I'm back. While I was on my break, I just thought of a better line to end it off with, which was savings, why it's just not worth it anymore. Saving. Saving.
Light gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand
Right.
for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world.
Oh dear. Close and fill.
Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a whirl.
Man, I just love painting in Clip Studio. It's so easy. So easy.
We'll never be alone. Savannah.
Da, 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 da. Oops. Still, man, what a crock. I mean, apart from this, it's usually totally fine. Probably should have done that the other way around by outlining that bit first and then going through. Why is it doing that? Oh well. So I take that back. I mean, it's still really easy to fill things in with just the bucket. And it's just for the small bits like this where it's perplexing as to why it's doing what it's doing. Okay, and a nice red suit. Oops. Yeah, this happens now and then. Got to change it back to referring to other layers, and then it's all good. Purple suit. There we go. Now these guys are actually going to be a bit blue, in fact, because I want to try and push them into the background a bit more than currently is. That's not going to do it. It's going to fill in the entire thing. So... how about that? Cool. because that'll save me a bit of time coloring as well. And when you're producing for comics especially, you don't need to be a fine artist in any sense. You just kind of got to do the minimum to get your point across, and then turn it over to the reader to figure out the rest. Now, I don't know why it's doing that now, but it used to be when I started drawing on the edge of the canvas that it would actually trace the panel corner. And it hasn't done that for a while now, and I wonder what it is. It's really confusing. Because I actually found it a very interesting and useful feature for me to color in the panel itself. Like, just drawing the outline of the entire panel. And I do wonder how I managed to get that going. Yeah, I mean, don't need that. Right. BG. A few details I missed, which were the reporter's mouth and his... Oh, why am I doing that? I can just fill that. The microphone as well. I could probably go with something like that. And his mouth, which will be in just red. Cool. Right, and in this scene, I'm going to emphasize their reaction, which is kind of foreshadowed by the previous panel, where the couple is actually not colored in at all. They're all blue and faded out. So when I give them a bit more color in this panel, it's gonna make the characters pop out a bit more, give them a bit more visual meaning. Well, I mean, yeah. Let me bring them down first. Make them a bit bigger. And our reporter friend. First, I'll fill in the background. Maybe a nice red. That'll do. Set my layers, draw in my bits and pieces. Get my skin tones in. Or in this case where I actually can't. I always have to remember to not render everything just because it is a simple comic. I'm not trying to make everything perfect here. I'm really just trying to communicate the idea. To communicate an idea. And then leave it at that. Some could say it's a bit lazy, but it's efficient. It's efficient, and you have to be efficient when you're trying to be a comic artist because you want to be producing these pretty often. And yeah, that's the key here, isn't it? To be able to do this more often than not, you're gonna have to be a bit quick with what you're doing. Give her a nice pink dress and there we go. And I'm also trying to get this done pretty quickly because I've got a few more things I want to do today. In terms of art, I want to be able to, I want to be getting to learning how to draw and paint complex cityscapes. That's something that I've been avoiding for a long time, and I can't ignore it much longer because it's really limiting what I can do in terms of backgrounds. Like, if you notice in most of my comics, I don't tend to have a lot of backgrounds, and the reason is I'm just no good. I'm just no good at the moment at drawing them, or getting the level of complexity. Oops. Getting the complexity through to the viewers. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's kind of where it is at the moment. And I want to change that. I want to be able to draw those complex cityscapes, because yeah, that's going to open up a whole new level of being able to illustrate children's stories, books. And I've had a project in my mind which is very much steampunk, and yeah, I'm not going to be just designing characters for steampunk. You've also got to have an environment for your steampunk, or whatever I end up doing with my art, or with any of my storytelling. You know, you got to have your characters in an environment. But in comics, you can get away with it because you're communicating an idea rather than trying to evoke emotion. Now, of course, you can evoke emotion with comics, but I like to leave that to the world of fine art and just focus on communicating ideas, abstract ideas. Very simple. Now, this previous panel, I'm just going to change the background color because there's a lot of warm colors going on here. So I'm going to put in a blue or a purple, and just a light green. Yep, that works. Just to get a bit more contrast between the characters. And then this one, I'm going to change it to a very pale red, because there's already so much red and warm, so many warm tones already in the panel. I don't want to be saturating it with even more red. So in this panel at least, good. Yeah, and that's going to be enough. That is going to be enough for the colors here. Background anyway. Not sure what layer that is. I'm going to get rid of it. Background. People. And again, another case of simply drawing in the color, skin tones, not again. This guy's kind of turned into a spaghetti monster, but it's all for the exaggeration. And that's all I'm going for with that. Cool. In fact, I'm going to change their facial color to red to show even more anger, because I can. Why not? Be a deeper red. And that's the fun of experimenting in digital. You can just cheaply change things around and see how they work. Or if they don't work, then you can revert it. Easy. Easy as that. So Mum and Dad are extremely angry because of the reporter's question. And so that's why they're red. Got a lot of broken lines in this one, so I've got to fill that in before I actually go ahead and actually go for the bucket tool. Give him some beige pants or something. Good old reporter Dave. And of course the microphone. Get rid of some of the lines here. A bit of cleanup. Give it a nice bright color for the handle. And then bring in some of that highlight on. Oops. Yep, on the actual microphone. And a bit of shadow on the handle. Alright, last panel. Here we go. Oh wait, actually, I'm gonna have to change the mouth color a little bit. It's that. Good. As always, I'm duplicating the color layers because in Clip Studio anyway, the comic panels, well, okay, I could have changed that to the settings page, but the layers are set to monochrome by default. And I know I need to change it just at the actual settings page, but yeah. I'm guessing it saves memory in any case. I'll duplicate my color layer and pop in a new background. Actually, I have no idea if this is a what you would call an efficient workflow in Clip Studio Paint. If anyone has any tips, please let me know.
Taking it all in, baby. It's dangerous staying closer to you. You give me something to think on, baby.
Set a new reference layer and go to town on the filling.
These days they're driving me wild. You're on my mind, maybe it's for the best. Got an addiction to your
I
ways,
think a
baby.
white dress is what she tends to have on most of the time. God. Alrighty, I think that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna go through the comic one more time because I have a feeling I could improve on the first text. The expression is a bit funny, so here reporting after the bank's April Fool's joke of taking away all their money, the Joneses. So, did you think it was funny or not? So I think it's got to be a bit more like here reporting live. Reporting live. After their banks joke of taking away all their money, the Joneses. I'm gonna add a few action lines because it's Clip Studio and there's plenty of options to add flashes and various actions. Okay. Nope. Flash pattern. Wait a second. Oh man. Alrighty. Gotta select the background. Oh, what's going on here? Yeah, so I've got to select. With color margin less. And I will exaggerate their expressions a bit more. Because I want this panel to be, well, this all of my comics should be readable from a distance. That means their expression should be readable. Oops. Yep, always got to remember to change the reference layer. And now I can do that. And that's it. That's it. I think it's perfect. Plenty of colors, plenty of action, and tells a very, very simple story. I'm going to call the comic, I think April Fool or something. Oops. One for my signature. And then we'll call it a day for streaming. And that's it. This is the comic that'll be going out a bit later today. Thanks everyone for watching, thank you for participating, and we'll see you again next time. Ciao.